Hello, and welcome to another episode of Breathe More. For today's topic, we're going to be talking about our inner teenage self. Now, I'm assuming since you're listening to this podcast that you're familiar with inner child or reparenting, probably work that you've done in therapy, or if you've worked with me, we definitely have done some inner child work. But when was the last time that you connected with your inner teenage self? Your teenage self is also a part of you that wants love, that wants to feel safe, that wants to feel heard. However, I find that a lot of us don't connect with that part of us often or at all. And this is a topic that is very present in my mastermind calls, in my calls with my private clients, where I'm noticing patterns like they're not doing their homework or the way that they're talking about things, it's really dismissive. And immediately I sense, oh, their inner teenage self is activated. So I felt that it might be helpful to talk about this, especially given that we just had Thanksgiving holiday. I know for me, my teenage self was very activated being back with my family, especially interacting with my mom. I still have major mother wound to heal. That will be a separate episode. But whenever I'm with my mom, my angry teenage self comes up. I'm passive aggressive. I'm dismissive. I'm snarky. I'm just constantly annoyed. And since I've been back, I've had to connect with her and process that activation that happened, give her a sense of safety, help her feel heard, seen, and understood and validated. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So, how do you know that your teenage self needs some healing? Well, you might notice, as similar to me, that there might be some repressed anger. You might be self sabotaging. You might be giving attitude, maybe to your partner, to your kids, to your friends. You might be passive aggressive with people. Maybe your controlling self is very present. You're recognizing that in order for you to feel safe, you need to be in control of everything. Maybe you feel like you need to do everything yourself. And this might manifest as overspending, emotionally eating. You might also be procrastinating. You might be attracting the wrong partners. You might be rebelling. There's a lot of ways that your inner teen might be trying to communicate, hey, I need support. I'm not feeling safe. I need to feel loved. Take care of me. So, how do you begin healing your inner teen self? You have to connect with them. So, a simple way to connect with your teen self is through meditation. And actually, in today's episode, I'll guide us through a short meditation to start to help you connect with your teen self and gain some clarity on what's going on with that part of you, what type of support they need. Another really helpful tool to use with any type of healing, with any emotion that's coming up, with anything that maybe you've just been ruminating in your head but aren't really clear, is journaling. So maybe writing from the point of you as a teenager and allowing those raw emotions to come out, the hurt feelings, the pain, the feeling of being dismissed, maybe not feeling important, whatever is there in your space, allowing it to come out, pen to paper. Another thing to do is perhaps pull up a picture of yourself from when you were a teenager and look at yourself. This will help you go back to that time and think about, what were you currently going through? Imagine talking to yourself and again, holding space for that part of you, that teenage self. I feel like so much of the trauma and healing that still needs to happen within us and our teen self is around feeling safe expressing ourselves. If you're anything like my experience, although I was very vocal, I still didn't feel like I was being heard or like they understood what I was trying to say. Also, I wasn't asked ever, "How are you feeling?" And when I tried to explain my feelings, I felt dismissed. I was shut down. I was told that I was wrong. And that was really hurtful. So there might be a lot of feelings and emotions that are repressed. Perhaps you learned early on as a teenage self that it didn't matter what you said. So you just didn't speak up. You stuffed everything down. And maybe there were times where then you would explode your emotions and people would be so confused and not know where this explosion, this trigger was coming from because it didn't match the current circumstance or the situation that was happening. And that might be something that's even happening today as an adult. So allowing yourself to connect with your emotions, with your feelings, and process them. Once you start to cultivate some safety and feeling confident around speaking up and sharing your thoughts, your voice, your ideas, it's a good thing to start practicing it and speaking up, setting boundaries. Maybe at work, allowing yourself to speak up in the meetings, even though it feels scary or nerve-wracking. Lean into that discomfort so that you can continue to cultivate a new way of showing up, one where you are sharing your voice and your ideas and perhaps your creativity. And then you're starting to build a new list of evidence for your mind and for your teenage self that it is safe and there's a lot of positive things that can happen when we share what we have to say, our ideas, our feelings. One homework assignment that I tend to give many of my clients is to connect with your teen self and do an activity that they want to do. So maybe thinking back when you were a teenager, you were someone who was really into the arts. Maybe you enjoyed painting or drawing or writing. Maybe you were active and you played sports. Maybe you like dancing or singing or acting. And I have them do at least one thing that when they were a teenage self brought them joy and put it in their calendar as an adult and hang out with their teenage self. Allow that part of themselves to feel free, to express. And it brings so much joy and inspiration when they do that. So I'm going to suggest to you as well to connect with your teen self and do something that's going to make you feel good and then help your teenage self as well feel good. And also, it helps your teen self feel a part of your life still. Because that's another part that I tend to see in a lot of my clients where their teenage self feels abandoned. Perhaps similar how you felt as an actual teenager, that they didn't matter. And so once you start consciously including and connecting with that part of you, it changes everything. Practicing forgiveness might be another way that resonates or helps your inner teen heal. And it doesn't have to necessarily forgive people who maybe harmed you or did something bad to you. Maybe it also means forgiving yourself. If there's things that you did that maybe looking back, you wish you hadn't done that or you're embarrassed about. So bringing in compassion and love and self-acceptance is a powerful way to heal and to soothe and cultivate more peace, inner peace and love. And lastly, I would encourage all of you to be unapologetically yourself. Obviously, we still want to be kind and respectful for others. But as we get older, there's just so much conditioning and parts of ourselves that we put to the side, that we forget, that we ignore, that we don't share with others. Maybe it's parts of our personality. This is something recently that I also encourage one of my private clients to do. Let your teen self go to work with you. What would that look like? Could your sense of humor be shared with your coworkers? Can you be a little bit more playful? And my client did that. And she texted me this amazing text where she was feeling so great And she did allow herself to be that playful self, and it was very well received. So, allowing projections of other people, maybe people telling you in the past that it's too much, start to let those parts of you come out. The great thing about when we're adults is that we are able to consciously create our own group or community to bring safety in places where we're at. And so allowing ourselves to be more of our whole selves, more of our authentic selves, is such an easier way to live than in this contracted way, in a way of hiding, minimizing ourselves, not being as bright because perhaps in the past we were told to tone it down, to be quiet, to not outshine your sibling, or whatever it may be. All right, are we ready to drop in and connect with our teen self? Now, if you're multitasking or if you're driving, you might want to pause and come back to it. But if you are able to, get comfortable, close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to gently start to connect with your breath by taking deep breaths in through your nose and a slow, long exhale out. Deep breath in and exhale. And we're going to continue to just slowly and gently breathe. This is going to help your body, mind soften, relax, feel safe. And on this next inhale, inviting you to imagine yourself as a teenager. What are you wearing? And connect with your teenage self like a friend. Check in with your teenage self. How are they feeling right now? What's going on? And maybe even inviting your teenage self to give you feedback on your life right now. How do they feel about the life that you have created? What do they like about it? What do they wish was different? And let your teenage self know that this is a safe space where they can speak their truth. They're not going to get in trouble. They can't hurt anyone's feelings. This is a space where they can feel free. Also, if there's anything that your teen self is still holding from the past, any emotions, any bad memory, we're going to invite them in this moment to imagine that they're able to release it. Whether it's imagining that they're stepping out of it, unzipping themselves to step out of it, putting down a backpack, whatever feels good to them as a way that they're imagining to release that so that they can be free from it. And before we come back, we're also going to do a visualization exercise with your teenage self to collect their voice, their energy from any moment or person, situation where it felt like they were minimized, where they were shut down, or they were ignored, abandoned. And we're going to do that by imagining a golden sun above the head of your teenage self. Beautiful golden sun. And the sun represents their energy, their power, their essence. And we're going to imagine that this golden sun is magnetic, and we're able to quickly collect their energy, their voice from all those moments in the past. They're collecting their power, their strength, their voice, their light, making this golden sun beautiful and big and sparkly. And once they feel that they have collected most or all of their energy, we're going to imagine bringing this golden sun down into their body, filling them up, energizing them, feeling powerful, whole, safe, loved, practicing feeling safe being seen. Taking some deep breaths in and out, and just imagining that your body's softening even more as you're witnessing your beautiful teen self take up space. And check in again with your teen self and ask them if they have any last messages for you, anything that they want to share. And anything that you, the adult, want to share with your teen self, maybe giving your teenage self some affirmations, perhaps making a promise. What can they expect from you? Thanking your teen self for connecting and for coming through, and taking a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. One more. And out. And taking your time to slowly and gently come back. How are you feeling? Feel free to write down any messages that came through from your teenage self. Just doing a simple practice like this is so healing and so validating. And I hope that you continue to just recognize maybe when you do get triggered or activated or become conscious of some of your defensive and protective mechanisms, which part of you is feeling unsafe right now? Is it your inner child or is it your inner teen? And what can you do in that moment to connect, to help them feel safe, to help them feel seen, heard, or understood? Also, please let me know how this practice was for you. I'd love to hear if this helped you, if it resonated with you, if you had any aha moments after connecting with your teen self. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be in touch real soon. Bye.